So, and I'm going to throw this in too. You know, I'm a mom with 2 daughters, and you're still in the boys' club. Definitely breaking into that is not an easy task. And you are just a splendid role model for my daughters.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. I don't give up. So I either wear them down or finally they see the light and come along with my opinions, and then we can move things along.
You sound like my wife.
So
she sounds like me. She's got tenacity.
Yeah,
I like that.
You, as far as public health, one of the things that's come up that was a very interesting interchange that I had. Again, some of our public health committee hearings go literally 18 hours long, and this was about 11 o'clock at night. And there was a bill in and I think you'd appreciate this being a clinician, for veterinarians to be able to give half doses of vaccines to dogs based on the dog's weight, because this particular vet was saying that dogs are overdosed with vaccines for rabies and they're dying on this record scale. So my little bit of knowledge got me in a little bit of a, detente with this particular vet. And, I said, vaccines don't work that way. They're not like milligram pills where you're going to, lower the dose. They work by giving the animal or the person a certain amount of the antigen so they can create the immune response. You can't really cut that in half. That's not the way they work. And of course, there was this back and forth, and he tried to tell me that titers, if you do a titer, like a Lyme titer, that proves immunity. And for me, I've always learned that proves exposure, but it does not prove protected immunity.
And you are right.
So we went back and forth, and, unfortunately, a lot of people had left by that time, so I didn't have any backup, and what he was saying sounded wonderful. The next day I come in, and there's a video posted of him giving his testimony, all these poor little dogs dying with vaccine pictures, pictures of needles, and then me saying, I just don't agree with what you're saying. So now I've turned into
dog killer,
the puppy dog killer. And it's that I find very frustrating because first of all, I have 4 rescue dogs. I know what I'm talking about. And this particular person left out the fact when I went to look that his license has been suspended for 25 years for doing exactly what he wants us to do.
Oh.
So, yes, we have all kinds of really interesting conversations back and forth.
I'm surprised you didn't segue into doggy autism. And that, there's a potential for that. I do want to throw this out there, though, Heather. I have a 4-pound Yorkshire Terrier, and she's due for her distemper. So if there's a bad outcome, I'm coming after you.
Right. Well, you know what? This is specific.
She should only get a drop.
I actually talked to the United States leading doctor in rabies, named Dr. Ford, down in North Carolina, just to verify that what I was thinking was accurate. And he said, "Oh yes," and his response to this particular bill was it would be not only irresponsible but dangerous thing that's off-label, but second of all, allow that because we actually do have rabies here in Connecticut.
We do.
And we would be putting not only dogs but people at risk if we were to do that. So it's really interesting to have a little bit of knowledge and background, and you can see how it is very helpful in certain circumstances because somebody could tell you things that sound, that would make sense. But if you don't have the background, then you can see how you could be swayed. So it's been helpful to have the background that I have on public health.
Now, I love the fact that, and you just, tuck that in there. You called the country's leading expert down in North Carolina to have a chat about this. You're awesome. I think you just won the radio show with that. That's.
I'm surprised he called me back, but we had a nice chat, and then I actually texted some local vets, and he said, "You talked to Dr. Ford?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just called him. I asked him." And
I would say he's like a rock star. That's terrific.
So I have a question. I have a question for you. You have
sure.
Let's kind of switch gears a little bit and get into education. More local in the Griswold area. You've had a chance to meet recently with Sean McKenna? Is that true?
I did, and I know Sean McKenna because he was
He's from down.
interim superintendent and a fantastic vice principal in Groton, so I know him personally, and he lives in Groton. So, yes, I have met with him. Kevin and I both attended a Board of Education meeting that you had Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a presentation by a group that's looking at creating a formula in a different way that the state could possibly use. I think they're going to be testifying today at the public hearing on education. But it was very informative, and Sean and I speak often. He knows that if he needs something, he certainly can, pick up the phone and just call me, and he knows that I'm trying to fight for all the students of Griswold and the whole 18th district to, deliver the best education we can within our financial limitations that we may have without overburdening the taxpayers, but delivering a great quality product. And we've talked about some ideas I have as far as bringing business mentorships or apprenticeships into the high school, and he's very interested in exploring that opportunity. So now it's up to me to find a business that wants to do it, and I'm hoping that that's something that I will be able to bring to Griswold within the next year.
What kind of apprenticeships are we talking about? Are we talking about trade type of occupations, or?
One of the thoughts that I had when I ran for lieutenant governor was, after traveling around the state and seeing these different pockets of industry, one of the things I noticed especially in the manufacturing area up in Hartford, I was at one particular facility and I said, geez, everyone in here is like 60 that's working on the machines.
Right.
And I said, what are you doing? Like, when these people retire, what's happening? How are we going to move some new people in? And they had all expressed that it's a real problem. There's no younger, new people coming into the system, and that these are quality. Not the tech colleges. Are you still there?
Yeah, I think we dropped you for the last 5 seconds.
Okay, so we have the technical colleges that offer programs for manufacturing, etc. But my thought is I'd like to roll that back and have it be available even in the high school level, so that you can graduate from it doesn't have to be a technical high school, but you could graduate from, let's say, Griswold High School with a certificate of whatever we decide it is, because based on the business that's in that area. Let's say there's business XYZ that's in Griswold, and that they know they need younger people coming in, but they want them to be trained with a certain skill that they need. Why can't we offer a program like that is, sponsored and written the curriculum in conjunction with the high school and that particular business, so that when a student graduates from high school, should they choose to not go to college or not go into the military, they have an advantage. They've already had some training, and that they could go right into that particular business to work and eventually go on to community college. There is a wait list at many of the community colleges for particular areas. So that was my thought, and, it has to be refined, but there was some definite interest there. So we have to, look to see what we can do to kind of create that curriculum and work with the superintendent and, pilot it and see if it works. It could be something that could be used in different areas depending on what the industries are in that particular area. Maybe down near me, it's certain things that could be used to help electric boat. Other areas in Hartford, it might be doing more, like for an MA program within the high school level, so that, somebody could graduate and have some of the classes or part of the curriculum finished before they, as they graduate from high school. Because I still go back to, we graduate students that are educated, but they don't really have, and this is no offense, but there's no skill associated with that. And if you look at other European countries that are surpassing us in educational outcomes, they do it much differently. So not only do you have an education, but you have a skill that you can use that can actually be used in society. And I think we need to rethink the way we're delivering education in that way.
Now, I have a question about like some of those programs, and here's one program that I've never seen offered anywhere, and I'm going to say probably 25 to 30% of the jobs out there are involved with some sort of sales/customer service.
Yep.
I honestly think there should be some sort of training that goes along with that.
I like that.
That would be great. I mean, if you could get, sales, marketing, how you, create the need and then, you fill the need as a salesperson, that would be very advantageous for many, many businesses out there.
Right, because not everybody is going into a trade. Not everyone's going to become a clinician. Not everyone's going to become a senator. You know what I mean? There are different things that people are going to do, and there's so many positions in the workforce now that demand
even
that.
Just having good communication skills
right.
and being able to write or to be able to, there's all these different attributes that you need, like you said, to be I was a medical salesperson for a long time, so we went through the training on, create the need and then fill the need, and this is how you talk to the person, this is where you go, this is how you follow up. I think that would be very, very advantageous, especially for this generation, because
that's exactly it.
A young person to actually call someone on the phone, they just text.
Well, the communication, the level of communication, like and I keep saying millennials, but the kids of that generation, they don't know how to talk to people.
Exactly.
They don't. So if you're thrust into a situation where, and it doesn't have to be just a retail job, it could be anything. If you don't know how to talk to people, like I've talked to kids, that we'll use slang, and I used slang when you probably did too when you were a kid. You probably had your own little thing with your friends or whatever, as I did. In Griswold, we all took words and spelled them backwards and started talking them. we did, yeah. Like, well, anyway.
I'm not going to say some of the words we said backwards. So.
Yeah, every expletive was.
I'll text some of them to you later, Heather.
Okay. I was just watching a show last night. It was called like Miss Poe or something, and she was teaching everybody what she called them, country words, where she would take a bunch of words and put them together, and it was hilarious to see what they meant.
Oh my God, I love that show. Kind of I want her to come to my house. I really do.
What is this show?
Miss Poe? No, Miss Pooh? I
don't know. It's hilarious. So
I gotta look at it. I know the show you're talking about.
This woman.
I want her to be my spirit guide.
She's awesome. I love when she told that young millennial guy, "Look, you got to grow up. Look her in the eye and apologize. You can't say that." I'm like, we need her in every school. We need her in the legislature. She can really turn things around.
No, there are so many kids out there, and I tell them. I told one kid, he was like talking to me in slang, and this is the way they talk. They can't even spell. Because they spell in abbreviation, because that's how they're used to texting.
Right.
So I looked at one kid and I said, "What you just said to me, would you say that to an attorney? Would you say that to a doctor? Would you say that to a judge?"
And what did he say?
Yeah. And I said,
"Yeah,
not good." And I said, you need to rethink your ways of communicating. And that's just not how it's done. And, because I told him, I said, I have yet to see a judge go, yo, what up, homie? We going to set you in the slammer, biatch. You know what I mean?
Court would be a lot more fun,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's a
Judge Wu-Tang Clan.
You've already just created one. That would be very helpful. Or just even, following up. I've even found that, a lot of the younger folks, I'm like, okay, if you do this, then you have to follow up with a letter. You have to, how do I write a letter?
Right,
okay,
right.
This is how you write it. So I think that's very important.
I
don't know how we all learned that, but somehow we did. I think it was just different.
I don't know how we learned that. I think it was, I think it was just, I think generations have changed. I mean, our parents were set in stone with their thoughts and what they wanted their kids to do, and now you have the kids today that are just, well, I'm sorry, but they're just entitled little. And
we raised them. We did raise them, though.
There's a lot of entitlement, but it comes through.
Because we gave them everything.
We did, but a lot of the times you're forced to give them everything. Why? Let me tell you something. My dad one time jacked me right through a wall, for being, a smart aleck, and I was straight up disrespectful to the man.
Your dad did that?
My dad, all 125 pounds.
I was going to say he's a very slight man.
These days, you can't do anything. You know, you can barely even yell at your child without them screaming, I'm going to call DCF. I'm going to call 911. I'm going to do this. They feel they have it up on you so they can do what they want to do. They don't have to follow any rules. They don't have to follow any kind of anything. They can just do what they want.
I had the look. I give my kids the look. And I think that Miss Pooh lady, she said, you give them the stink eye. She was trying.
Oh, yeah, stink eye. That's what she said.
Oh, right? My gosh. That was right before.
And the rat mouth.
Stink eye and rat mouth. So did you see the part where she saw the woman with the shorts that were too small, and she said, you know, you're supposed to be wearing a 2XL, not a medium or a small or a smedium. I loved smedium. That was like my favorite word. So I aspire to see that part. No, I aspire to someday be a smedium. I think, you know, dovetailing off of what Mike said, though, I think that we had a better way of being able to communicate with different generations. I had a nurse assistant years ago who was wishing one of our residents a happy birthday, and she called her dog. Like, as a term of endearment, I guess, if you call your friend, you know, hey, G-dog, or whatever dog means. I guess that's like fat is good too. I don't understand that. But I pulled her aside and I said, she's 100 years old. She does not understand that what you called her was something nice.